Welcome to day 12. Yep, 12. There was no day 11. Well, there was, but there was nothing worth reporting on. Basically, it was just me jumping to get towards home, really. I had made a decision on day 11 to venture home. And avoid the Elephant's Trunk Nebula because I just wanted to get home. However, once I got to, where are we? Shinrata's over there. So I think once I got to around here, no, it must have been further out then. Well, whatever. I was 632 light years away from the Elephant's Trunk Nebula, and I calculated that would be around 20 something jumps. Turned out to be 25, and I thought, well, okay, let's just turn left, which is basically what it was. Turn left and let's just head towards the Elephant's Trunk Nebula and go there and just do that for day 12. So we'll go to the Elephant's Trunk, find a planet, land on it, have a look around, see what the sights are like, and that'll be day 12. Because basically I've been spending so much time traveling around in the last 10, 11 days that I need a bit of a rest. And that's why I was rushing home. But I know that even where I am now, where are we? Shinrata. I'm still, it's got to be, well, there we go. I'm 2,745 away from Mikasa. So, I thought I would come here first because it's right here. So we're not there yet. We are one jump away from GM Sephi, if I haven't murdered that pronunciation, and that will get us inside the Elephant's Nebula. Right now we're just that one jump away from it. I believe I'll have to have another look on the galactic map because I wasn't looking for that at the time. It looks, we haven't even got in it yet and it looks massive. Even compared to the bubble, look, it's huge. It's really actually quite big. We are in it. Yeah, we are in it. But I'm wanting to jump to here, GM Sephi, which is a white star. And then I don't know whether this is the actual main thing, because all the names around here are two mass and elephants and all that stuff. And this one is just a short GM Sephi, so I'm gathering it's got some importance to it.
Frameshift drive charging.
But I will have a look and see if there's any neutrons or black holes or anything, but I don't hold out any hope for that. And so really day 12 is just going to be covering the Elephant Trunk Nebula, and then we'll be tuning back in again on the approach to either the Pleiades, which is where I said I was going to go, or when I'm jumping back into populated space. I'm finding now, I don't know whether this affects anybody else, but I am finding now, that looks an interesting one, doesn't it? When I jump into these white stars, these big bright ones, and it's right in front of me on the screen, it feels like it's burning my cornea off. Just so bright. making my eyes ache and everything, so I think I do need a bit of a break from this. I want to land on one of these planets, I think, but before I decide to do that, I'm just going to do one of my side field scoops. This is how I field scoop, by the way.
Fuel scooping.
Get the fuel amount per second up to where I want, and then power the engines down and just hold it there. Okay, so while that's fueling, let's take a look and see if there's anything in here. So let's get rid of the popular stars and see what we're left with. Now, these are the Protostars, so we've got the T Tauri stars here. But if there's anything grey showing up, then we're looking at a black hole. I can't remember what the neutron stars showed up as. These are all T Tauri stars. Yeah. I think what I'll do just for the moment, I'll just take the T Tauri stars away, just to see if there's anything.
Fuel scooping complete.
Okay, that's the fuel scoop done. Doesn't seem to be anything that I can see. The problem when you've got all the stars turned off is you don't know how much you need to zoom in or out before you make them go invisible. It's so easy to lose your bearings when you're zooming around. Okay, so T Tauri stars, loads of them, but nothing beyond that. No. Yeah, I see this Nebula thing here, but I'm not interested. I really had quite enough. See, now we've got the North American Nebula here, which is it's another detour really. What, this is NGC 7822. We've got the North American Nebula there, which is a detour, and there's another nebula over here, which I don't know what that one is. The Veil Nebula East. Looks like a very small one. The North America Nebula, of course they had to get a name, didn't they? And the Pelican Nebula. I guess there's North America, maybe because it looks like North America, the shape. I don't know. Let's turn some stars on and see if we can see how far away this is. And this doesn't mean I'll go there. It'd just be easier to type the bloody thing in. If there's a black hole here, I'll be there. Otherwise, you know, I'm not really bothered. So it's another 1,000 light years, which is it's doable in, like, you know, it won't take long to do 1,000 light years, but no, I'm going to leave that for another day. I will leave that for another day. So let's go back to where I am. We're right inside the neb now, so what we'll do is we'll go into the system map is what I want it to be. And I'd like to pick this planet here. And it's just going to be a rocky world or an ice world, but I want to pick this one. Basically because the view of the nebula, and if I land on this hemisphere, you know, I'm going to have this planet, or am I? Well, yeah, it's a moon of this planet. I'll be having this planet in my view as well, if I can get on the right side of it. That's the plan anyway. So I'll select this one, and we'll head out there. Okay, I won't bore you with this, I'll be back when I'm there. Okay, so we're approaching and I'm going to turn off the orbit lines. I want to see... Oh, there it is. There's the big planet. There's the big one. The big ringed one. So that'll give me some idea of where to land. I think now on landable planets, when you scan them and it puts the data... See, I don't know why this is not happening anymore, but now I'm finding that when you scan a planet, sometimes it'll tell you, oh, you know, it's high metal content. So look, we've got the dark side over there. Damn it. Okay. And I want to land on the dark side of this planet to bring the nebula out, so we're not going to see the big ring planet, I don't think. Yeah, look what's happening now on the left. Scanning, watch. Watch what happens when the scan completes. Let's see if it works or doesn't work this time. When it finishes a scan and it tells me what it is, we're going to play stay or no stay. See? There you go. Analyzing scan. Once it's done, boof, it goes back to distance and speed. It always used to stay there for a couple of seconds, icy body, blah 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 blah. Sometimes you can scan a planet and it will say, oh, you know, high metal content world, and it will stay there for a couple of seconds. And then there's on other occasions when it just won't. Frontier, can you please fix this so that it stays on the left for at least 5... There you go. Look at that. Now it's stayed. Now what's the difference? Why has one stayed and one not? Class 3 gas giant. And it's still there. It's not showing my speed anymore. What do I need to do to make my speed and distance come back? Move? Move the joystick? No. Move the throttle? No. Move away from the planet? No. So I'm accelerating now. Now what's my distance and speed? To what? In relation to what exactly? Anyway, the point is, it's there. The information that I scanned last is there. It didn't do it on that little ice world that I scanned in, or rocky body, or whatever it might have been. It just didn't do it. But it would be nice if they fixed it so it did show the information there, maybe temporarily 5 seconds, and then it would go back to the standard speed and whatever display. But part of the information here should be like GM Cephi 2 Anarchy Class 3 gas giant, or let's say icy world, and then underneath the gravity. And that way I don't have to go into the system map to check the gravity. There's another graphical error. Brilliant. I don't have to come here, click here, because I realized I should have clicked there first, and then go back here to find out that the gravity is 0.07 g. Okay? I'd like to know what the gravity is, because I don't want it to be a high grav planet and find myself going in without realizing that and then getting pulled to the ground. I'd like to know before I go in. So if the information of the gravity is available after the scan, which clearly it is, please display it on my left hand part of the HUD there. That's valuable information. But before you do that, when we're in the buggy, and I've said this on a previous video, and we fire at a rock to get the materials, and we target a material like carbon or sulfur or nickel, please, here where it says anarchy or something, please put what it is, you know, Please put the sulfur there so we don't have to keep backing off 50 meters if we're on a hill, so we can see what it is that we've just blasted. Whatever gets targeted by the buggy, please put it on the left hand side display there where it says GM Cephi 2 Anarchy Class 3 Gas Giant. Please put it there. It's a small request, easily done, easily programmed. Anyway, I'm still looking at that poxy place. We should have already been bloody landed by now. First discovered by, yeah, how about second discovered by and third discovered by? Okay. Yeah, there should be another square here with like a book icon, and you can click it and you can get a list of all the commanders that have scanned, and yeah, anyway, maybe not, whatever. Just stupid ideas. So I want to pick the dark side of this moon, so I'm going to have to be on. See, I've targeted it, but again, it's not telling me what it is. And I didn't take any notice either. So let me just back this off and have a quick look here. What are we looking at here? So it's a rocky body, fine. 91% rock, 9% metal. Okay, cool. So far I'm not seeing the nebula, but as you know from my travels in the bubble, once you get to the dark side, there is no turning back, Luke. Oh. No, once you get to the dark side, the nebula kind of brightens up quite considerably than it would if you were landing on the, because you're blocking out the sun basically, and so what remains is just ambient. I mean, you see that there's a hint of cloud there, but when we pop down here, you'll see the difference. It's quite, well, I'm hoping you will. I'm hoping there's going to be a point here. Well, there you go. It's brightening up. There we go. It's kind of a brown, reddish brown with some green. I need to look up because this is what I'm going to see when I land. Yeah, it is double color, bicolor, whatever. So, well, it's more than two colors, isn't it? Obviously, but in the main. So I am dripping from orbital cruise. So let's glide this thing in. I want to get past that big crater, but I don't mind landing in that big crater if I'm honest. I tell you what I do like about this part is hearing the ship creaking, and even I think in my Anaconda I hear it even more. You just hear the ship, especially when you do like these turns, the ship just creaks and it's brilliant. That's a familiar, oh, check that out. That's a familiar sight, isn't it? The crater with the hill in the middle. That was on the last planet we landed on. Yeah, I have to see in this I'm landing up on here. I'm not going to be in the crater. And there is NGC 7822, or parts of it. Okay, so
Landing gear deployed.
aye. Okay. I think I timed that pretty well. That looks to be a reasonably flat bit over here. I'm just on the small boosters now, small thrusters. Yeah, I think here's going to be alright. If Frontier lets us land. Because we do have Frontier Development traffic wardens taking over my... Oh, there we go, they've let me land. Okay, well this looks different. This reminds me more of the Lagoon Nebula, or the or the nebula I visited that was next to the Lagoon Nebula, that near it, that begins with a T, which I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce it, but I think it's trike, I am going to attempt to pronounce it, obviously. Whatever, tracheotomy. Well, that looks a decent view, so let's see if we can take a picture for my for posterity, and also as a postcard to deliver back to friends back at home. Wish you were here. It's really lonely and peaceful. I can call him Pizza Hut from here. If the pizza is cold when it is delivered to you, you don't have to pay. Yep. Pizza $4.99. Travelling expenses $6 million. I was expecting, because of the size of the nebula, I was really expecting to be completely engulfed in cloud. But however, not to be. Okay, so I want to head... I'm not really material gathering, but while there's a thin and crispy line there, I'm going to be picking that up. I'm only here for the views, the screenshots, and that's it, because I don't think there's anything I'm going to be picking up here that I don't already have, or that I need, unless yttrium or technetium or whatever is going to turn up. Technetium I've got, but I don't have any yttrium, and I think I used up my polonium accidentally. I'm not sure, I think I did. So yeah, but yttrium I know I definitely don't have any of, and I would like to have. So if that turns up, hey. But considering it's one of the hardest to find because it's ultra rare, I'm not really expecting to find it. Now then, how far are you going to make me? Seems to be two separate bands there of thin lines. Okay, I'll press the right button in a minute, I promise. Well, I am pressing my targeting button. It's not working. Why? Because my thing is there. No, it's not. There we go. Yeah, I was looking down. That's weird. Chromium and chromium. That's it. 2 chromiums. Bollocks to that. Can you trade, not trade, but like if I'm in populated space, or well, wherever, and I have another commander alongside me, and he's got, say, 10 cadmiums, and I haven't got any, and I ask him, can you spare 2 cadmiums? Can he jettison the materials? I know you can jettison materials, but do they pop out? Does the ship them out like it does cargo and allow another ship to pick them up in space? I mean, I know it's a tiny little piece of rock in space, but I guess not. What about on a planet? Because I can jettison stuff from my buggy. So if there's 2 of us in 2 buggies and I drop a cadmium here, you know what I mean? Can the other person pick that up? Jesus. I thought I'd really dropped myself in it there. You know, this nebula is okay, but it's not as bright as I thought it was going to be. And that's probably just bright because of the sun. Maybe I should be on a planet a bit further out, a bit further away from the sun. Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, once you've been to the Bubble Nebula and seen how bright and how the absolute brightness that you get there. But it's okay. That looked like it. See? Nickel. I know that's nickel, but I can't see it. Now I can see it. See? Look at all that space on the left-hand side. It says material 27 meters away, and then there's just a great big gap just there ready to fill with the word nickel. Why can't we? Why? Why haven't they put that? It's so bleeding obvious. When you target a ship, it appears there. It says Anaconda, deadly. Why can't it say nickel there? Oh, arsenic. Yeah, how did that get its name? Somebody was sitting on a razor blade. Yeah. Oh, I need to get my cargo scoop out. There we go. God, I can't believe I just said that. Okay. Yeah. Let's recall the ship because I'm not here for any other reason than to take in the view, and I've done that here. So I'm going to visit another planet, try and get in a brighter area of the nebula. I'll land there. If it's better than the view I'm getting here, I'll be back. If it's not, then I kind of won't be back, and I'm just going to turn tail and head towards Shinrata Desra, and yeah, that'll be that. Yeah, we got some air there, but we didn't, did we? We got some vacuum. How far is that off the ground? Yeah, it's feasible. If the other three legs are on the ground, then the fourth leg being off the ground is fine with me. That's doable. But that's not off. That's neither of the two right-hand side legs are touching the ground there. What, no suspension? That one's not touching either. No suspension here? I think we need legs that can tilt and not just be straight, but they can tilt and form themselves to the ground. Might have to start working on that one as well, Frontier. I've got 3 legs off the ground here. If the fourth one's off the ground, then we've got a floating ship. No, that one seems to be firmly clamped. So it's basically hopping. It's just standing on one leg. I know what you're going to say. Well, they're not gravity, it's easy. Okay. Okay, so if there's something interesting, I'll be back. If there isn't, I won't be, because I don't want to bore you any more than the narration. And we'll see. So this is what? This is 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th nebula, isn't it? I've been to. I only planned to come to 2. I only planned to go to the Heart Nebula and the Soul Nebula, and that was it. And then I decided, thankfully, to go to the Bubble Nebula, which was, I think, a good decision. And then, yeah, I made a late call to come here.
Cannot comply.
Yeah, well, that's not what I meant to do.
Landing gear retracted.
Okay, now you stay up there for a second. I'm just going to pop into the galaxy map I want to find maybe a part of the nebula. Look at this, 17 frames per second. Are you kidding me? I get more frames per second than... Oh well, anyway, never mind. This looks like it might be fairly bright down here. It's a T Tauri star. Go on, we'll give it a look over. Oh, we can probably just jump straight into it.
Frameshift drive charging.
Or not, actually.
Frameshift drive charging.
When you do a jump to supercruise, you've got to hit that escape vector. When you're doing a jump to hyperspace, whatever, frameshift driving, jump, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, hyperspace. A system jump. When you're doing a system jump, you don't need to, it just takes you straight out, by the looks of things. Let's take a look. Okay, I'm just going to turn away to avoid the cornea being melted off my eyes. Right, yep. I knew that was going to happen. However, I'm not going to let a T Tauri star go without being scanned. So while that's doing that, just want to look for a bright area. There's lots of planets here. I've been to there, haven't I? Of all the ones I picked. Yeah, I think what I need to do is just highlight everything here. What the hell's going on here? What am I missing? Is it height? This one. Why is it not showing up as a red dot? Look, Jesus. Anyway. This is a big nebula, but not really having any luck finding that much of a suitable. I want something, yeah, when you're getting close, that looks okay. Let's go there. Okay, I'll be back possibly then, and I'll see you next time.